Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to our explainer. Today, we're going to completely reframe how we look at our own existence. We spend so much of our time treating life like this rigid puzzle, trying desperately to find where the pieces fit, trying to discover the one true picture we're supposedly meant to be building. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if life isn't a puzzle to be solved, but rather an abstract art to be practiced? We're exploring a deeply fascinating philosophy today that suggests the art of living isn't about finding meaning, it's about creating it. Have you ever woken up with that sinking feeling that life just doesn't have a single clear purpose? For centuries, the collapse of old certainties has left modern society staring into a bit of a void, and honestly, that thought has terrified people. But what if we've got it completely backward? What if that blank space isn't a void to dread, but an empty canvas meant specifically for you? The philosophy we're exploring today validates that exact emptiness as the ultimate space for creative empowerment. Think about it. If there's no predetermined picture on the box of life's puzzle, it means you're holding a completely blank canvas. Art therapy and aesthetic philosophy actually teach us something super profound here. Art provides a language for the unspoken aspects of our existence. It embodies ambiguity. By engaging with abstract concepts, we come closer to revealing something absolutely essential about the human experience. And the meaning it reveals is that there is no one meaning. We are completely freed from the exhausting, endless search for an objective, universal truth. To really ground our philosophical journey today, let's define what we're actually doing. Meaning making isn't passive. It's the active process of how individuals make sense of knowledge, experience, relationships, and the self. Meaning isn't just something you're going to stumble upon hiding under a rock, right? It's something you actively construct using your culture, your context, and your totally unique experiences. You are the artist of your own reality. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it contrasts two totally different frameworks. Think about the exhausting reality of treating life like a literal puzzle. You're always seeking objective truths, terrified of getting it wrong, and constantly fearing the void. Now contrast that with the abstract art of living. Here, you embrace ambiguity, you're fueled by inner feeling, and you engage in constant self-creation. It's a massive, liberating shift from seeking external validation to generating pure internal expression. In aesthetic research, moving towards abstraction is literally moving towards uncertainty. Just as a physical mark on a canvas becomes the direct embodiment of a thought or an essence, the exact same principle applies to our daily actions. By stripping away clear, figurative appearances, the artist forces a much deeper resonance. In our own lives, when we let go of rigid, predetermined paths and actually embrace this kind of abstract uncertainty, our choices become true embodiments of our inner selves. To really understand how this works, we need to look at our foundational thinkers. Section 1, Nietzsche and self-fashioning. So the 19th century philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche presented a deeply radical idea. He believed that the real project of the artist is not actually the physical painting, the sculpture, or the opera. Instead, the primary project is the shaping and reshaping of oneself, using the raw materials of one's own life. An external work of art might emerge from this, sure, but the true masterpiece is the artist's own subjectivity. It's the continuous, ongoing work of fashioning exactly who you are. So, the crucial point is that Nietzsche viewed existence and the world as something that can only be justified as an aesthetic phenomenon. It's the ultimate antidote to pessimism. But this brings us to a terrifying but exhilarating realization. There are no excuses anymore. You are holding the brush. You have to take full, absolute responsibility for how you construct your identity and your life. But that naturally raises a massive question. If we're entirely responsible for shaping ourselves, how do we actually know what to create? Where does the motivation come from? Let's turn to Section 2, Kandinsky's inner necessity. For the 20th century abstract pioneer, Vasily Kandinsky, creating wasn't about following art theory, popular trends, or societal expectations. It was about tapping into a deep, groundless resonance of the soul, which he called inner necessity. Think about how radical this was at the time. To declare that a work of art is created because there's a basic sacredness that exists completely independently of external rules or religious dogmas. It's an unyielding inner compulsion. And this brilliantly illustrates Kandinsky's argument that all means are sacred only when they're dictated by this inner necessity, and utterly reprehensible when they aren't. True expression and meaning just can't be measured or weighed by outside critics. It has to spring from a spiritual, unmeasurable inner truth. When you apply this directly to the art of living, it means your choices only hold true meaning if they resonate with your deepest, most authentic self. Okay, so now we know how to shape ourselves, but why do we engage in this abstract art of living in the first place? Enter Section 3, Motherwell and the Universe. Abstract expressionist Robert Motherwell offers this deeply romantic yet profoundly empathetic perspective. He noted that modern life often leaves people feeling utterly ill at ease, largely due to the collapse of old, close-knit communities and religious certainties. We feel that void. Abstract art, he explains, is an effort to close that void. It's the individual's effort to unify themselves, to literally wed themselves to the universe through pure, intense feeling. Motherwell famously described abstract art as having a nakedness. It's an art stripped totally bare of anecdotes, propaganda, and the physical world of objects, driven instead by a relentless need for intense, immediate, and direct feeling. In the exact same way, living abstractly means we have to strip away societal expectations and the propaganda of what life should look like. By emphasizing our true, intense feelings, we actually vivify our lives. We make our existence warmer, more unified, and deeply rhythmic. Now, this all sounds wonderfully poetic in theory, right? But how do we practice this when we're just waking up and going about our day? Let's look at Section 4, the poetics of daily life. The art of living definitely isn't just reserved for grand, dramatic, cinematic moments. According to philosophers who study this, we must strive to be the poets of our lives in the smallest, most everyday matters. It happens by turning banal daily actions, like mindfully making your morning coffee, curating the music on your commute, or even arranging your desk, into deliberate aesthetic interventions. It's really simply about paying attention. Let's move to and see how this builds into a really actionable everyday practice. Drawing on thinkers like Nietzsche and Michel Foucault, we see that self-creation happens right here, in the day-to-day. It's in nutrition and the body, treating what you eat and how you move not as a chore, but as a mindful, aesthetic choice. It's in your environment, creatively curating your surroundings and your downtime. It's in relations, engaging with people authentically. By continually refining these everyday elements, you're fashioning your identity. You are styling your life as a total work of art. So, we leave you with this final provocative thought. As early modernist painters observed, even the bare spaces, the parts left completely untouched by the artist, are a meaningful, absolutely essential part of the structure of a work. The blank spaces in your day, the routine moments, the uncertainties, they're all part of your canvas. The void isn't something to fear. It is your space to create. So how will you take your own inner necessity and apply it to the blank canvas of your daily existence? Thank you so much for exploring the abstract art of living with us today in this explainer. Keep creating, and we'll see you next time.